Tony, what have you just continued to see from Dean there, him hitting that homer to kind of spark y'all offensively today?
Yeah, I mean, he's really strong, but also he's got a good compact swing. I don't think he ever really is trying to do too much in there, and just missed one really in his first at-bat and made a minor adjustment going into the one that finally kind of got it rolling for us.
How advanced of a hitter is he for a freshman in terms of being able to make those adjustments?
I think real advanced, and part of it is his makeup. He's just real sure of himself, and also he's a hard worker. But then also, you know, SoCal kid that's played a ton of baseball, and then he's a good enough player, gets invited to a lot of the famous stuff or whatever you want to call those big time events. And so he's got a pretty good baseball background going for him, and good kid from a good family, and he's obviously excited to be out there after having to watch. It's not fun for any of these guys to watch. That's why we try and mix them all in there like we did today. But he's showing that he's been anxious to get out there on the field.
What was the difference offensively the first 3 innings and then the rest of the game?
I think really just kind of we talked about it for a brief second in the outfield. Just keep pressing on. I mean, if you're going to judge it based off one at-bat or one inning, you're going to drive yourself crazy, no matter what day you're playing on, what opponent, what part of the game. And so it's important for the guys to keep pressing forward. Whereas a fan, you know, might freak out. They want runs right away, or if, you know, we're down 1-0 on the scoreboard, they want to see us even it up or take the lead. But it's 9 innings, and we've talked about that as a team too. 9 innings is a long time. There's a lot of different things that can go on, and I don't know the makers of this game, what they kind of had in mind when it happened, but it seems to be the big inning is a big thing, and we've had that. We've been fortunate enough to kind of have that as our earmark too here, and you know, you never know what one thing is going to kick-start it, so you got to just kind of keep pressing on, whether things are going great or not.
How impressive has Robin been at the plate so far?
More impressive than he's going to be during this interview you guys are about to have with him. I think, you know, I don't know. I hate to go on a tangent. I travel a lot, and I always just kind of, if people don't speak English, I kind of, you know, I guess just go to the Google Translate or whatever. But for somebody that's new to this area, and English is actually their second language, he's just been a remarkable kid in general, in the locker room and in the dugout. But to more directly answer your question, and I kind of answer silly there because he's waiting in the wings, is just wants to compete. And that sounds real simple. And if you ask every athlete to raise their hand, you know, which ones like to compete, they're all going to raise their hand. But they don't all go out there and do it like that. It's, you know, when it feels good or when things are going good, or it's got an asterisk next to it. And he's one kid we have that there's no special circumstances that come with him coming to the park and being fired up and ready to rock and roll. And that's why he makes our team better, regardless if he's, you know, getting hits or making plays.
Why do you think this team has had the tendency for those big innings so far this year?
You know, again, it's kind of nature of the beast with the game, but also it's been a group, I think, that kind of feeds off one another, and when a couple guys do well or when something goes right, those positive thoughts get going in the right direction, so it bears the follow-up, or it kind of brings up the follow-up question, you know, what do you got to do to maybe kind of be more consistent, or as we talk about, you know, spread the butter on the toast a little more evenly, and I don't have those answers either. But if you look at the way you break down at-bats, whether they were beneficial to the team or not, or if guys are giving away at-bats, we've had an awful lot of good quality at-bats out of our guys. And we always tell them the results will come and go. But I would focus more on the positive end of that. I think it's an explosive offense that maybe just needs to get a little better at finding some consistency when that, you know, big inning isn't occurring.
What would you assess Beam's outing?
Good. Kind of the usual deal. I think we're playing a lineup that shows you they don't care what the score is. They don't care what the temperature is. They don't care, you know, who we got out there on the mound. They're going to get in the box and compete, and they got good flat swings. They're going to be aggressive. They've laid off a couple good pitches out of a couple of our guys that had a lot of strikeouts last week. So he got in there and did what he needed to do. I mean, I would like to see him go 6 innings, but the 1 inning dragged on a little bit, and we were able to separate ourselves. We make one more play for him, you know, maybe the statistics are even a little bit better or something to be juiced about, but I'm pretty happy with just seeing him go out there, and then you kind of get something around this, no matter who we're playing or what day he throws.
Do you have an update on who's going to throw tomorrow, and then any update on AJ Russell from last night?
No update on AJ until tomorrow, and then Xander will most likely start. I haven't told him that, but just giving you an honest answer. We'll probably use him. We'll definitely use Snead. We had Snead about ready to go in this game. Circumstances changed a little bit, but Snead and Phillips are ready to go, and Banky's the guy we need to get in the game tomorrow. And even though Schaefer and Dallas started during the midweek, those guys should both be ready. So we feel good about having everybody, that we can to throw at those guys.
What have you seen from Dalton early on? He had the hit today, but a couple of balls in Houston or Dallas that were barely fouled. Just what have you seen from him early on?
Yeah, in January and February, if you were to ask the coaches who swung at the best, he might have got more votes than anybody else. I think we had that conversation one day, and there's about 3 or 4, but he might have swung it as well as anybody. And, we kind of learned Texas Tech's guy real well, and we decided to go with the lineup we did, and all of a sudden you're not in there when you've been hitting the ball that well. You could pout a little bit, feel sorry for yourself, quit working. He hasn't done any of those things, and I think when you get one at-bat here, one at-bat there, you got to just keep going and trust that when there's a big sample size, you'll see your body of work of how talented you are and how prepared you are. And again, you give that guy 100 at-bats, you guys will all see that, but it's been kind of here, and today was nice. He got to start and be out there for almost the duration of the game.